Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I just want to thank everyone for joining and also for being part of this tremendous effort. My name is Angela Cabellin, and I am Chief of Staff to County Executive Ball, as well as served as the chair of the Econ Task Force, which is the subject for today. It has been such a deep pleasure to have chaired this effort, and recently I joked with the county executive that there's nothing that he hasn't taken on. Whether it's from the first federal shutdown to a global pandemic, numerous tough budget cycles, it's like his time wouldn't have been complete if there wasn't just one more challenge to handle. And he's done it tremendously by handling this major challenge with the federal impacts. What many of you know about him is that it takes a strategic visionary and disciplined leader to both handle direct impacts and ensure that we have this type of collaborative engagement to ensure that we come up with key actions and recommendations for the long term. So without further ado, I just want to introduce and thank our fearless leader, County Executive Calvin Ball.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here. Thank you so much, Angela, for your leadership in chairing this important initiative and helping to move things forward. Nearly 8 years ago, when I first became your county executive, I could not have imagined the challenges that would confront our community, our state, our nation, our world. Just a few weeks into my first term, the federal government shut down. And between December 22nd, 2018, and January 24th, 2019, we experienced the longest shutdown in our nation's history at that time. I remember speaking with families throughout that holiday season during those 34 days of turmoil, who were suddenly unsure how they would buy groceries, cover rent, or explain to their children the anxieties they were facing. The ripple effects of mounting bills and the debt reverberated throughout our nation. Not long after, the world was forever changed by the COVID-19 pandemic, with our first confirmed case in Howard County on March 15th, 2020. This was a crisis that impacted every aspect of our lives and reshaped our economy, our workplaces, and our sense of security. The physical and emotional toll weighed heavy on our world. And as we continued the long and difficult road to recovery and healing, many families, ourselves included, hoped that the worst was behind us. Instead, through presidential executive order on January 20th, 2025, thousands of federal workers, contractors, and impacted families began to face renewed instability through the DOGE-led mass layoffs and job insecurity. Howard County is a proud home to many of those dedicated public servants. They are our neighbors with years of service who suddenly found themselves anxious, hurting, and unsure of what's to come. Just as we began to steady ourselves again, our nation endured yet another prolonged federal government shutdown from October 1st, 2025 through November 12th, 2025, breaking history again as the longest federal government shutdown. Those 43 days of dread were layered with rising grocery and energy costs, high consumer prices, instability in Social Security and retirement, and new tariffs that further drove up the cost of everyday necessities, further straining family budgets. For many, anxieties mounted as new hard realities hit, and new employment estimates by the Bureau of Labor Statistics showed that federal employment in Maryland fell by an estimated 10,300 in October and November of 2025 alone. Since the beginning of the federal government shutdown and the federal government layoffs, nearly 25,000 Marylanders lost their jobs from these federal actions. That's 25,000 people who show up every day to serve our community and our country. People who process Social Security and health benefits, who protect our national security, who support our veterans, who keep our parks, labs, and infrastructure up and running. The U.S. Economic Policy Uncertainty Index gauges the level of uncertainty surrounding Americans' confidence in economic policies, and uncertainty can rise from structural economic shocks, global events, financial stress, and policy actions. This index confirmed what we are seeing, hearing, and feeling. Uncertainty rose by 60% between March and April, surpassing pandemic-level uncertainty. It was clear we had to act. Last March, I signed an executive order establishing the Economic Competitiveness and Opportunities Now, or Econ Task Force, to help Howard County navigate this period of uncertainty and economic instability with intention, expertise, and compassion. Made up of private sector experts, educational and workforce professionals, experienced practitioners, and leaders across major industries and members of my cabinet, this task force worked together to take actions and recommend solutions for our most pressing economic challenges that lie before us. Together, this 40-member task force, chaired by Angela Cabellon, met regularly for 9 months, and they were tasked with identifying and recommending policies, regulations, strategies, and actions that strengthen Howard County's economic competitiveness. I would like to thank each and every task force member for your service, your time, your dedication, your commitment. It has and will make a difference. And while the comprehensive report provides a robust 25 recommendations for short and long-term implementation, we are already taking immediate action now. First, connecting former federal and all workers to new careers and upskilling is a central focus of our work. Nearly 10% of Howard County's wages come from federal jobs. We hope to support these workers through our new Opportunity and Economic Mobility Center, which will serve as a one-stop shop for workforce resources, child care support, and housing assistance. Another resource in Howard County is the Maryland Innovation Center. Operated by our Howard County Economic Development Authority, the Innovation Center provides entrepreneurs with workspace, mentorship, programming, and access to strategic partners. The task force also underscored the importance of workforce, specifically by investing in the youth pipeline, increasing partnerships with businesses, and leveraging assets that are helping cultivate apprenticeships. Our economy will be stronger. We invested $150,000 for a brand new pre-apprenticeship program accelerator that is launching this year. Additionally, we are continuing our apprenticeship opportunity program with $100,000 in retention incentives for businesses. Our businesses are critical to our economic competitiveness. And this is why we are improving multi-agency coordination and increasing technical capacity so that businesses can navigate complex processes efficiently and open their doors even more quickly. We have already begun laying groundwork by upgrading our current systems and modernizing platforms. In turn, we are streamlining processes across the whole of county government. Furthermore, Permitting and planning process changes and tweaks will ultimately help attract and retain businesses and will improve our economy in the long run. We will optimize permitting and planning to improve communication and training so companies understand the review process more clearly. And finally, the report provides an overview of Howard County's progress and continued impact as an innovative, smart county, ultimately increasing digital access and competency. This includes expanding connected infrastructure to improve service delivery and using data even more efficiently and effectively to support our decision making. These 5 recommendations alone can be achieved within the next year and help position Howard County for early successes. They build on our existing momentum and strong cross-sector relationships to help bolster our economy. The economy that is only strong if it's affordable for the people who live in it, work in it, and grow in it. Affordability defines whether a family can buy groceries without anxiety, whether a parent can pay rent and still afford childcare, whether a worker can keep their home while they retain a new career, and whether an older adult can grow older in a place that is age-friendly. Nearly 8 years ago, I stood with workers in Howard County and throughout the great state of Maryland wondering if we would make it through a shutdown. 6 years ago, I stood with families navigating a pandemic that upended our lives. More recently, I stood with our neighbors who lost jobs through no fault of their own, all while facing rising costs and shrinking margins, feeling like they had nowhere else to turn. And now, as our federal government once again began a partial government shutdown this past Saturday, we are pointedly reminded that these are the moments that shape leadership and shape our lives. They remind us that government cannot simply react to crisis, but it must prepare for it, address it head on, and help people move forward. That is what we achieved through our Econ Task Force, and the Econ Report stands as a commitment to act quickly, thoughtfully together, and always with people at the center. This work, these recommendations are about making Howard County a place where opportunity is real, where transitions are supported, and where affordability is protected for today and for our future. We cannot control every national policy shift, but we can control how we respond locally. In Howard County, we choose to respond by leading with compassion, listening with intention, and acting with care. Where families are stable, our economy is stronger. When workers can afford to stay, businesses can grow. When people feel supported, communities thrive. That is the work we have been doing as we navigated the turbulent times of our era. That is the road ahead of us as we lead with love. And that is the powerful promise we make together as we embrace our economic competitiveness and transform obstacles into opportunities now. Thank you. I would like to invite all of the task force members who are present up for a photo.